Well, okay. Apparently I'm live. Okay. So, apparently we are live now. And I just confirmed an 11 a.m. communication with next week with Lewis of the Geek Fortress so that we could talk all about our lovely Batman vs. Superman stuff going on. Let me open this up for the live chat. Okay, and boom. Eventually people will show up. If you build it, they will come. So anyway, okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm leaving my hair down. I just got the shower a couple minutes ago. I was hoping I'd be dry enough now to put it up in a ponytail, but nope, sorry. Even the bandana isn't going to be great right now, so sorry. I'm going to be kind of scruffing it for a moment. Anyway, so, yeah, Free Comic Book Day. Guys, come on now. If you went to Free Comic Book Day today, and you went last year or preceding years, you know they beat us up today with so many free comic books. I'm talking, they were just like, it was lined out, all these different free comic books out there. I had hit 2 different comic book stores because the first comic book store I went to, I brought a bunch of my own comics so that I can go and meet several writers, all right, for the very first time. Like, not writers, sorry. I'm going to get to that in a moment. That was, I had a very cool surprise when I was there. So first off, just really quick, I got to meet Sam Noor, okay? And he made this for me. It's a commissioned piece, you'd figure, but I didn't have to pay for it. He just wanted to get pictures of people with his work. Sam Noor, he does a character called Major North. Again, I'm in Canada. This is the first time I'm hearing of this character. He gave a little hi, Professor Bill. Very friendly guy, unbelievably friendly guy, all right? And just, it was such a pleasure getting to meet this guy. He's a huge fan of the comics and comic culture and everything. He was talking about different times, this and that, and all these different things, and just a very, unbelievably very cool guy, you know? Got to meet another guy who was there who does some work, also a local Canadian. Also, I got to meet, this is actually very cool. Now, Fan Expo is a thing that we do in Canada, all right? And for the very first time, I went to my first Fan Expo in Canada just this summertime. It was in August. It was right when I first did the podcast, or right when I first started my channel. When I left, I had 12 subscribers, just to give you an idea. And yes, those are friends and family. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody I didn't know. So yeah, that's how it was. Professor Bill for president. Oh, they don't usually like people who are going for Canada citizenship. But yes, anyways, again, Lewis, Geek Fortress, he's in the chat right now. Just confirmed for 11 a.m. next week, same day, Saturday. We're going to be talking about Batman vs. Superman, all right? Seriously, genuinely, a friendly discussion. There'll be some laughter, all right? But what do you call it? Mostly just seriously, like serious stuff. Anyway, if you've never heard of, and I'm sure you haven't, Captain Canuck, okay? Very strange, I know, right? Captain Canuck. He's actually a character who's been around for a pretty long time. In America, we never heard of him, though, right? I never heard about him until I went to Fan Expo Canada, all right? That's the first time I saw somebody actually dressed as him. And up here in Canada, he's actually a pretty big deal, but you never hear about him anyplace else. But not only did I get a free comic book day, Captain Canuck, I got to meet the creator, the original artist and writer, Richard Cumley. And on the back of this comic, he gave me his email address and, Facebooking him right now and talking with him. I'm going to try and get an interview with this guy. Now, if I wasn't already dealing with a super celebrity as it stands, that's Lewis from the Geek Fortress on Facebook and YouTube, then I'd have just scheduled him for this Saturday. I might have to bump him, all right, a week back because it's a pretty big deal to be having this lecture thing, this conversation with Lewis at the Geek Fortress. I'm only partially joking. Now, I did get my comic book artists. This was, I went there for this reason. I actually did not get my all of my free comic books from the place because I stood in line for 45 minutes to an hour to get Jason Fabok to sign my lenticular covers. Can you see this? Let me see what you can see on here. Yes, to get my lenticular covers here for the button. Issue Batman 21, Flash 21, Batman 22. Those are the only three that are out. The final one is going to be this Wednesday coming out, number 22 of The Flash. This is all for Rebirth. And yeah, he's the artist for this amazing story. I'm going to try and get the writer. I'm going to try and meet the writer to sign these also. But I got to get the lenticular cover of Flash 22. And then I guess Fan Expo this year, I'm going to try and meet. He's going to be there. So if you guys are Canadian, if you guys are going to be in Canada, that's where I met Stan Lee last year. It was the final Canadian appearance for Stan Lee. So I was like, gotta go. And I literally just went for that, but I got to meet a lot of really cool people there, everything. So that was great. I got to meet Jason Fabok. Also, I may have gotten to meet Ken Lashley. Yeah, might have gotten to shake his hand. Might have gotten to get an autograph of his X-Men Prime. Now, what do you call it? You got the first 6 issues are Ardian CF. That's the guy of X-Men Gold. Of X-Men Gold. X-Men Prime, issue number 1. There is no issue 2. They're not going to do it. This is one book, and all the other X-Men comic books spin off of this. Currently, the other 8 spin off of this one. This is your Prime source. So Ken Lashley is going to start drawing. He's already drawn issue number 10 and 11, I think he said. And he's going to be the artist from that point on there. If you're not familiar with Ken Lashley, he is, first off, I don't know what you guys are doing, but he is the artist who drew for Superman Doomed. All right? That, if I had to say there was a third best story, because I only believe there are 2 good stories with Doomsday, and we've discussed this before. There are only 2 really good Doomsday stories, and that was the first 2. The one where he killed Superman, and the second one, Hunter Prey. But if there had to be a third story that was great, at the very least, the art was unbelievable. It would be Superman Doomed, which was the only Doomsday encounter that happened in not Flashpoint. What the heck was it called after Flashpoint? What the hell was it called? The New 52. Oh my God, I hate it that much. That's what the movieverse in DC is currently based off of. So boom, I got to see a lot of cool people, a whole lot of very cool people. So I also got donuts today. Haven't had donuts in a very long time. I figure, I'm going to chill on. We have some donuts. I also got a whole bunch of really cool Thor comic books. I got a bunch of free comic books today also, yes. But that's what I was going to say in the beginning. I did not get the opportunity to get my free comic books, for the most part, at the store that I was at, because 45 minutes at the one place, because they were doing commissioned work also, Fabok and Lashley. So what I did was I went to 45 minutes in the one line and then 40 minutes in the next line. And Ken Lashley's line, I literally, like the 2 guys who were in front of me, I was like, hey guys, I hear you talking about getting commissioned work, and he's taking a real long time doing that. Would it kill you? Like, I would give you guys both a hug right now, individually or together, group hug, if you just let me go in front of you, because all I'm doing is getting this one comic book signed. Like, that's it. And I might shake his hand. And I did. They're like, yeah, all right, sure, go ahead. So if you don't ask for a yes, the answer is automatically no. So yeah, I cheated a little bit. Group hugs, that's right, Lavoie. What's going on, buddy? Hey, did you go to Free Comic Book Day today? I'm hoping. So guys, I managed to get it. I had to go to a different comic book store to do it, but that's okay. I stacked up on my my Walt Simonson run of Thor. I got like $67. That's with Canadian tax. I got $67 worth of Thor comics. Yeah, the Walt Simonson run, because I just don't have them. Not the first appearance of Beta Ray Bill, unfortunately. It sucks. But I did get the Free Comic Book Day Secret Empire. And guys, there's a Spider-Man story in the back of this. I did, and other stuff I've been out and about. Yee. Nice, dude. Nice. So I'm going to show you. There's a spoiler if you didn't see this, but there's anyway, Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah, I saw it on the back. Spectacular Spider-Man. Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, is the new comic coming out pretty soon. Chip Zdarsky, never heard of him as a writer, but Adam Kubert, hello. I actually met Adam Kubert one time when I was in New Jersey. I was working at a bookstore there, and he came walking in, and he's literally just like, oh, hey, how you doing? I just wanted to look at your comic books. Like, yeah, I've got nothing here as far as comic books. And, like, how long ago was this? The Civil War, the original Marvel superhero Civil War, had just ended. That's how long ago this was. I believe we were just about almost on the secret invasion with the Skrulls. Didn't actually happen yet, though. That's how long ago this was. Yeah, $67. Yeah, it is a nice haul. But yeah, so I actually got to meet him. I did get his autograph, but I lost all of my comic books. I lost everything when I made. That was right before. That was a couple of months before I made a move to Saudi Arabia to start teaching and stuff like that. So it is what it is. I lost. That was actually the second time I lost all my comic books. The first time I actually gave them to my brother. So good investment, I would say. You know, when you give them to somebody you love, somebody you care about, it's a good thing. That aside, yeah, this one's going to be coming out soon, and there is a preview for that also. But this is the big one, Secret Empire, and I'm going to show you this last page because it's all over the internet. It's been all over the internet for the past week. Yeah. That is Captain America for the third time in history picking up Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, while Thor himself is not worthy of it. So, for all of us who had questions in Secret Empire issue number 1, why is Thor, amongst all these people, helping out Captain America, the evil Hydra Captain America? Let me tell you something. Because when Thor sees that Cap is still worthy of picking up Mjolnir, it doesn't matter if he's saying Hail Hydra or, well, a whole bunch of other expletives I could think of. Because Hail Hydra is equivalent to the F word as far as I'm concerned. But it don't matter. He will follow. He's the only mortal that Thor has ever followed. Thor has never followed Mew Mew. He has never followed another mortal before, ever, in the history of forever. So that's a big deal. So now we've got it. Now Nick Spencer, he's got a lot of splaining to do. How is Captain America able to lift Mjolnir? All right, because you got to be worthy. Spider-Man is not worthy of picking up Mjolnir. All right, we don't know about Miles Morales yet, but Peter Parker isn't. All right, most people aren't. Storm has picked up Mjolnir in a What If comic book. All right, she was given her own version of a hammer by by Loki. All right, that when she lost her weather control powers way back in the day, Loki actually gave her another comic. But you explained a lot with that cube and Red Skull, so maybe he's lifting it to show that there's the real worth. Steve Rogers is in there. Lavoyer, I agree. Makes me think of Kid Goku and the Flying Nimbus. Holy crap! Wow. That's bringing me back, man. The original Dragon Ball. Holy crap. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much, right? He's worthy, dude. He's worthy. But that's the thing about it. Like, the first time he picked it up was way, way back in the day during the Armor Wars, the original Iron Man Armor Wars. This was the second time that I picked up Iron Man. The first time I picked up Iron Man was actually when James Rhodes took over the Iron Man persona. Ever since, what the hell was it called? I'm thinking a cross between One New Day. What the hell was it? When Tony Stark became a drunk. All right, which is funny because he's currently called the Drunk in the Secret Empire comics. Is my hair dry enough I could put it back? You know what? Screw it. Bandanaing it. But my hair is thick and rich and full of body, so it doesn't just stay back. Anyway, so you should see me in doing full contact with long hair. Actually, for a good portion of my martial arts career, I was in the military also, so I didn't have hair. But anyway, now I'm like rebelling. So anyway, having the Armor Wars. That was when some bad guys showed up. The Ghost specifically showed up. He just made a surprise appearance in issue number 12 of Thunderbolts recently, the last issue. He showed up and he took away. He just basically helped out the some of the good guy Thunderbolts, the ones who stayed good. The the Ghost came in and he was commissioned basically to steal some information from Stark International, to steal some technology, like the schematics and blueprints for technology from what's his name, from Iron Fist, from Iron Man. So yeah, it's not just his fist that's iron. Anyway, okay, look, all that stuff aside, he did that, and Steve Rogers at the exact same time had quit being Captain America. Now, the first time he quit was back during the original Secret Empire, where President Nixon actually turned out was the bad guy. He became the Nomad. In this particular one, he became disillusioned with the idea that the military said, hey, listen, this is a new storyline much later on in the 80s now. And Steve Rogers, he's Captain America, he's doing whatever, and all of a sudden the military says, hey, it turns out that you were always still on commission the entire time, so what we decided to do is we're going to pay you for all the time that you were trapped under ice and all that stuff. We're going to pay you, back pay, your military pay, captain's pay, so that's officer pay. All right, he's was that 03? There's first lieutenant, second lieutenant, second lieutenant, first lieutenant, and then captain. So in 03, he's an officer. Boom. So that's a lot of back pay. So that's when he went and bought his super secret van with the license plates. There were like 3 different license plates on there. They were all unregistered. He got the motorcycle that spring-loaded shot out the back, and the super internet thing that was going on. So he had a whole bunch of cool stuff going on there, and he decided at one point the U.S. government said, okay, listen, we're going to start sending you on missions now. We're going to start making you do things. And he says, okay, I'm not cool with that. And again, guys, I know that people think, oh, well, his name is Captain America, so he must go for American values. Yes, he does go for American values, not politician values. He's always been against politicians using him or doing whatever they're doing for their own gains. So when they started saying, well, we want to start sending you on these kinds of missions and these kinds of missions, he's like, okay, you know what? I'm done. And they said, okay, well, that shield belongs to us. He said, well, you know what? You can effing take it. All right? He dropped the shield. He dropped the uniform. He says, you can take it all. I don't care. I don't need you to be Captain America. But they had the name, so he took the name just the Captain because he's all sorcerer set. And if you guys remember U.S. Agent, that's John Walker, big dude. He's actually a lot stronger than Captain America, but not quite the fighter that Captain America is. This was the original uniform that that Captain America had, or that the U.S. Agent had, that all black with a little bit of red, white, and blue just right on the front, kind of crossed, and that black shield with a star on the front. Well, that shield is actually made completely of, I believe it's secondary adamantium. Is it secondary adamantium? No, I think it's actually primary adamantium, but it's an adamantium and iron composite, if I believe, if I'm correct. But anyway, it's not made of vibranium, and Captain America's real shield is called proto adamantium because adamantium was made from vibranium. I know there was the big thing a long time ago. People used to think, and some people still to this day think, that the shield is a cross between vibranium and adamantium. That's not true. That's not true at all. The shield is made of vibranium. It's got a steel alloy in there also, and it's also got a third unknown substance in there that's the catalyst for making it able to defy physics the way that it does. So, what do you call it? That's what Cap's actual shield is made out of. And it's the strongest material known to man. Like, literally, Uru, which is what Thor's hammer is made out of, is the only thing that's considered as strong. But it's not stronger. It's not. It does have mystical properties, though, and Cap's shield doesn't. So there's that. But adamantium is about a third as strong as Captain America's shield. So, yeah. Plus, it's not also about the strength with Cap's shield. It's also about reflecting and deflecting and absorbing kinetic energy. I don't know why I just got into that. My love of the character, that's why. Anyway, so he went to Tony Stark and he's like, listen, man, I was hoping I could get a shield from you, help me out. So he's like, you know what? Yeah, buddy, you're my bud. So he gives him an adamantium shield. So it's heavier than Captain America's actual shield is 12 pounds. This one was, can't remember how heavy this one was, but it was a couple pounds heavier, and it didn't have nearly the agility, the balance that his original shield had. but Cap is Cap, and he was able to adjust, and he was able to handle it just fine. He did have to throw it a lot stronger to get it to reflect off of walls and come back to him and whatnot. Voyeur. What do you call it? He did have to, to do that a little bit more. He had to heft it a little bit more, whatever. It's not a big deal for him. But he did have, that's where he got that shield from. So that's where John Walker, U.S. agent, got his shield from, because Cap just they kind of traded identities again later when Cap became Captain America again. And then John Walker became U.S. agent. And he became a much better person after he left Force Works, and before that, West Coast Avengers, and in between there, Avengers West Coast. Anyway, that aside, so that was around the Armor Wars time, and it wasn't too long. It was because of that Captain America was like, dude, I don't know what the hell you're doing, Tony. Like, you're actually attacking other heroes at this point because you think they're using components of your armor. It's not their fault. There's other channels to do. You don't just attack people. What the hell are you doing? So what does Iron Man do? I don't have time to deal with you, so he attacks him instead. First off, jackass, if you're going to attack Captain America, please, if you're going to take... That's the thing, man. If you ever say, I don't have time to talk to you, so you're going to fight them, who are you going to fight who's a pushover in the comic book universe, right? I mean, come on, man. Unless you're Superman talking to, I don't know, Daredevil, all right? I don't have time to talk to you right now, and then you fly away, or even you punch him. Well, then I get it. But if you're not Superman, maybe you should consider talking. It'll go faster. Look, run with me. Let's talk as we're on the move. But this boneheaded nonsense, and Tony Stark always does that. All the heroes are guilty of that. But none more than Tony Stark and Spider-Man. Go figure. So they're going to both be in the same movie. That's going to be lovely. So he attacked Cap, and from that point on, their friendship was very off. It was very off. And Cap and Tony were always tight. Tony, what do you call it? Cap is the one. You remember when Tony Stark was a drunk? Demon in the Bottle. That's the name of the frickin' thing. When Tony Stark was a drunk, it was Cap who actually talked to him and told him, you need to beat this. He told him about how his father was a drunk, and his father used to beat him sometimes, and, he always had the demon. He always had the monkey on his back, Cap was the one who sat there and explained all that stuff to him, was like, listen, he had to become a better man, and he couldn't. I believe that you can. Cap was always super cool like that. Peter has chosen a terrible mentor. I agree. Lavoyer, I agree. You also said, did Tony have extremists at this moment? No. I know they effed it up in the movie. Yes, they did. And Pepper has it and then bounced, which is, that's on Pepper. They made her a superhero, and then she left because the movie wasn't about... Actually, because she wasn't making as much money as Tony Stark. Yeah. Good job with that. You really think that you're going to make as much money as Robert Downey Jr.? Come on. She was, and when she left, she was the highest paid actress in the world at that time. But since she wasn't making what Iron Man was making, what Tony Stark was making, she was like, yeah, no, I quit. Good job. Literally, I think she might be coming back. I'm hoping she comes back for Homecoming. And if she does, then maybe she'll wisen up a little bit and come back and say, hey, we'd love to have you back in the Marvel Universe if you're not going to, be like this about it. But whatever. Anyways, that's a behind-the-scenes thing. And Super Magnumable. That is a very cool name, dude. What are your hopes for a new Cloak and Dagger series? I hope that it doesn't suck because I love Cloak and Dagger. Also, do you think we'll get a new comic series with them after the show comes out? Yeah. Did you read Secret Empire issue 0? They're in there. They're already in there. And I've actually mentioned, if you go back and look at my, was it last week's podcast? I think it was last week's podcast. I just talked nothing about the history of Captain America on his road to his long road to now becoming a Hydra agent, the leader of Hydra, the supreme leader. One of the things I talked about was that Baron Zemo got the Darkhold, which you see in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. lately, and that's the book that has the Montesi formula that Doctor Strange used to eradicate all the vampires that were currently on the Earth at that time. So very powerful book. It's the exact opposite. It's literally like the antithesis to the Book of the Vishanti, which is his main book that has all of his defensive spells. This has all the offensive spells. he took this book and Blackout. He's a character who can access Dark Force, and they made a shell made out of Dark Force, or a shield around New York City, where the bulk of the heroes were. Two characters who were in there who were very important to get them out is Doctor Strange, for one, and which we know that we're going to be seeing some more of him. He's going to have a lot to do with going after Eliza Sinclair. She's she's basically Madam Hydra right now, and also Cloak and Dagger are both in there right now. So yeah, the dimension that they're trapped in is not Dark Dimension where Dormammu is. It's the Dark Force dimension. Cloak is an actual conduit to the Dark Force dimension. So like when he takes off his cloak, his body, like he doesn't have a body. His legs and his arms are kind of like, and his head are extending out of the Dark Force dimension. I don't think that's what we're going to see in the TV show, but in the comics, that's why he's always wearing the cloak. Yeah, he'll open it up and you will fall into the Dark Force dimension, and he eats your light, your soul. So yes, I do like I believe that he's going to be the way for them to escape there, for those heroes to escape out of there. I also believe that they're both going to have their own solo series. Absolutely, no doubt in my mind. I may have to check it out. I'm more of a DC fan. That's cool. I have a soft spot for Cloak and Dagger. You know what I always wanted to see, and maybe one of these days I'm going to do it? I'm going to have a battle, an online battle thing, Cloak and Dagger versus Hawk and Dove. I always thought that would be a very interesting battle. I mean, like, I guess it would be better to do it versus Power Man and Iron Fist, but yeah, both of them. I can't tell who I like better, Cloak and Dagger or Power Man, Iron Fist, because they're both an amazing team. But Cloak and Dagger actually need each other to survive, which is that's amazing. That's amazing. Also, I think that was the first, I don't like to say interracial love, interethnic love fest thing in the comic books. I don't remember there being one before that. Marvel's always been really good with that. What do you call it? Oh yeah, Steve and Tony are tight, all right. Lavoie, yeah. Wow, really greedy. And yeah, you did in the last one. It was great. Thank you, sir. Oh crap, Lavoie, you don't hurt your fingers. There's a lot of typing here. Okay, I think Professor Bill here does a great job showing sides of DC and Marvel. You should definitely check it out. Thank you. And that sounds interesting. I like the theory. Yeah. Cloak and Dagger is awesome. I actually just got some of their original, not their Spectacular Spider-Man run. I'm going to have to save up some money for that, maybe find a cheaper place to get those. But yeah, I'm a huge Cloak and Dagger fan, and I have their first series, issue 2, 3, and 4 from their first miniseries. I had all of their stuff before, but life happens. Anyway, so where the heck was I? Okay, so Tony... Tony, I don't know, cheated, he blindsided, whatever, it doesn't matter, fight's a fight. And if you're already in a fight, there's no such thing as a sucker punch. All right, sucker punch is only if you start the fight off like that. It's like, hey, we're going to fight, we're going to what? Bow. No, that's a sucker punch. Anyway, the most dangerous move in any fighting style. Most effective too, but not the most honorable. Anyway, so you have Tony Stark left, and he went out and he still did what he did, and he got in a lot of trouble with the law, whole lot of trouble, kind of went on the lam for a little while. But since he pulled that nonsense with Captain America, their friendship has always been on a riff from that point on. That's from the mid-'80s on. I think that was 1986 when the Armor Wars happened. I think it was 1986. So yeah, that was a really messed up thing. He was still wearing the the Mark 7 armor. That's the Silver Centurion armor, the red and silver one that you saw in Iron Man 2. So, yeah, the briefcase armor. So anyway, it was at that time that Thor didn't know, because those are the three main Avengers: Thor, Iron Man, Captain America. And Thor didn't know which one. He's like, they're both my friends. I don't know what's going on. And then there was the one time Thor and the Captain America in his black outfit, they were fighting off some bad guys. And they actually started overwhelming Thor. And he wasn't able to fight back at one point. He dropped Mjolnir. And inside of a minute, if he lost Mjolnir for more than 60 seconds, he would revert back to Donald Blake. So the fight was about to go really bad. Well, Captain America ran over and he grabbed Mjolnir, literally just picked it up and fought back against these enemies, took them all down, finished the fight. So he didn't just lift the hammer. he wielded the hammer, which is a step above, you know? Like I said, Storm lifted it in a what if. She never lifted the actual Mjolnir in an actual real timeline. She never, what do you call it? Not just her. Wonder Woman and Superman have both lifted them in a crossover. It's a crossover. It's DC. DC is way bigger than Marvel. They're way older than Marvel. Marvel respects the hell out of DC, and they should. And they're like, you want Superman and Wonder Woman to lift Mjolnir? Sure. On 2 separate occasions? Sure, why not? You know? If they wanted Aquaman or the Green Arrow, Aquaman would be cool, but if they wanted Green Arrow to lift Mjolnir, they would say sure. So it's not that big of a deal that they lift it. So, and it's not a real timeline, so those, you know, obviously didn't really happen. The only 2 characters, like you can go on and on about some of the characters who have lifted, like Conan, you know, in one of the timelines, a What If comic book. In What If comic books, lots of people have lifted Mjolnir. But in the real timeline, 2 characters have wielded Mjolnir. One of them is obviously Beta Ray Bill. All right, that's the greatest of the people who have, you know, it's like, whoa, holy crap. And he actually was given his own version of Mjolnir called Stormbreaker. Reminds me of the Elric of Melniboné series by Michael Moorcock. Amazing series, and that was called Stormbringer also. The first IR Love, this is super magnable. And Marvel might have been Misty and Iron Fist. Nope. You might be, you know what? That's a really good one. I also read The Spider Island with Mr. Negative, and it was grounded and amazing. Yes, it was. I'm surprised. Spider Island was one of those comics events that I had to actually go back to, because I thought I looked at it at first and I didn't have any interest in it whatsoever, and then I kept on hearing good things about it, so I had to go back and pay more to find these issues and whatnot. And yeah, it is what it is, whatever. But yeah, it was a surprisingly good series. But you might be right with the Misty Knight and Iron Fist thing. You might be right, because they did know each other first. They did know each other first. But when they actually got together, you might be right. You might be right. Anyway, that aside, good one. Super magnumable. Stick around. So, seriously, subscribe and stick around, dude. What do you call it? Where was I? So anyway, Thor noticed that he lifted the hammer like that and gave the hammer back before he turned back into Donald Blake and would have been toast. So he was like, you know what? I was wondering who was right between you and Tony Stark, and now I have no doubt in my mind that you were undeniably right, because anyone who can lift Mjolnir is worthy. You know? And he did it before Beta Ray Bill did, before Beta Ray Thor did. So yeah, big deal. That was a huge deal. Later on, Captain America lifted the hammer again, a second time, and that was in Fear Itself, the Fear Itself storyline. It was good. What do you call it? The Fear Itself storyline was, it was one of the lesser known ones, but that's where the Unworthy showed up. The Red Skull's daughter, Cynthia Schmidt, she showed up, and she had already had her face all burnt up back in the Captain America Rebirth storyline. And she came, and Borson, Borson, one of the sons of Bor. That's Odin's brother, Carl Borson. He showed up. He's the Serpent, and he's as powerful, more powerful, whatever, than Odin. When he's got fear on his side, he's unbelievably powerful. And he's the only person, he used magic, obviously, because he is a magical being. But through brute strength and his own magic, I know, people who have destroyed Captain America's shield before, I know they show it and things like that a lot, but, they're usually faking that stuff. They showed it in Age of Ultron. It never happened in Age of Ultron. They showed it in the movie Age of Ultron. Never happened in Age of Ultron. Actually, sorry, it did happen in the Age of Ultron, which I think was really stupid. They never explained that. But not too many people actually like Age of Ultron, the comic, anyway, so whatever. They never explained how he was able to destroy his shield. That was just dumb. I don't like it when there's no explanation for things. But, Beyonder has been able to destroy. That was actually Dr. Doom with the Beyonder's abilities. Beyonder, for crying out loud. A guy who could take down the Living Tribunal. All right? That's a pretty big deal. The Beyonder could take down Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah, like that. So, characters like that have been able to destroy Captain America's shield. Here it is, the Serpent, when he had the fear of the world, and even of Asgard. He had the fear of Asgard. They locked themselves up and hid away. And he'd already killed Thor, He takes the shield over his head and boom, shatters the shield. And Cap is like, okay, you son of a gun. And Cap's no joke, man. Cap went off and he went to Oklahoma, where Asgard was at the time. Don't ask. It's actually a pretty cool storyline the way they did it. It just sounds dumb when I explain it without detailing it. He showed up with a bunch of farmers. He went to a bunch of farmers like, does anybody have any weapons? So there's Cap with a couple of hunting rifles and, hunting shotguns, all right, for hunting ducks and things like that. And there he is, just, all right, bring it on. Army of Fear, the Serpent, bring it on. And he's just sitting there. He's like, he's tough as hell. Like, he's not playing around. He did what he had to do. And then some more farmers showed up and people like that in Oklahoma, and they stood their ground. And they were terrified, but they did what they could. And at that point, Thor's hammer was laying there. And Captain America ran over, picked it up, and was like, holy crap, they didn't forget! Picked it up, wielded it, and literally won the day. It's a good enough storyline that you should read it. Amazing storyline. And he wielded the hammer. And he actually had it tucked into his belt and walked up to Odin and was like, here you go. And Odin's like, amazing. So now this is the third time in Secret Empire Free Comic Book Day issue. This is the third time he's lifted the hammer. First time he's lifting it without wielding it. So that's a big deal. So that's why Thor is following him. We got to see that something happened to Scarlet Witch. That's why she's following him. Vision was reprogrammed. He started talking binary for whatever. And I don't know why binary instead of there's hexadecimal. I figured that he'd be speaking hexadecimal or octadecimal. No, hexadecimal. Yeah, I figured he'd be speaking hexadecimal in the meantime. A through G plus 1 and 2. Anyway, it's more intricate than binary. Binary is very old-fashioned at this point. MS-DOS ran on binary, for crying out loud. That's my engineering talking. So anyway, there's... so I wonder if he sounded like R2-D2, because that's technically the language that R2-D2 speaks, is binary, when he does his little stuff. So that would be interesting, hearing the Vision say that. So he was reprogrammed. That's why he's working with them. So everybody's working with Cap in the new version of the Avengers for whatever reason that they are. It's basically the second incarnation of the Dark Avengers, Dark Reign. So, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy insane. Not really interested. Super Magnum, not really interested. Not really related, but I hated the second half of Luke Cage. Do you think they'll bring back Cottonmouth? He was too smooth of a villain to just let die like that. Here's the thing. In the comic books, Diamondback was actually the very first villain that Luke Cage faced. Luke Cage, amazing hero. The backstory is almost the exact same. Hey, Lewis, if you're still watching, this is the cup I'll be drinking from next week when we have our conversation about Batman vs. Superman. What do you call it? He, Diamondback, that's Willis Stryker, same name, was not his brother in that. But they did grow up together. I have a milk mustache over top of my regular one. They did grow up together in the mean streets of Harlem. And Luke Cage was good with his fists, and Diamondback was good with knives. That's all it was. And then, they were talking to their lady friend and whatnot, and Luke Cage wound up... Diamondback was more interested in her than Luke was at the time. Luke was willing to let it go because, whatever. And then she wound up liking Luke Cage better because Diamondback almost got her killed in a drive-by. Like, he's an absolute loser, So she started getting with Luke instead. Diamondback didn't like that, framed him for the heroin, actually stole from another organization in order to do all that stuff. Yeah, really crazy tales. And then he got sent to jail for that, and that's when he became Luke Cage, Power Man. He became, his name in the comics was Power Man. He is the very first, he's not the first African-American superhero, Falcon was. The first black superhero was, Black Panther, T'Challa. I'm trying to think of T'Challa. He was the first black superhero, but he was African, and it seemed kind of far away and whatnot. So Sam Wilson, Falcon. He was the first African American superhero. And then the whole blaxploitation era happened. And for anybody wondering, blaxploitation was literally just black people at the time were suddenly allowed to do certain jobs that they were never allowed to do before. And one of them was film directing. So there you have an influx of very low budget black movies where a lot of times you also have, martial arts in it. So that's actually what the blaxploitation era was. Unfortunately, you did have, they were good, like Len Wein and all them. You did have, good people working on the comic, but it was okay. It was okay, but there was still a lot of love for it, even though it wasn't as representative as the previous two. And then later on, DC got their act together and did Black Lightning. And I actually did a Black Lightning Explained in a Minute episode, and it was good. To find out what their original idea for their first black superhero was supposed to be, you'll laugh your butt off. So, Black Lightning Explained in a Minute. Your milk from bags. Yes, Lavoisier, Canadians actually do bags. There are some places you can go to where you get the regular milk that you get in America, like with the plastic, but yeah, instead we have, I feel like I should go get it and show it off and laugh. There's a big plastic bag, and inside there are 3 smaller bags, and that will equal a gallon. A gallon, of course, actually I think it's a little bit less than a gallon is 3.44 liters. So I think that each bag is a liter, so it's more like, 90% of a gallon. Anyway, that being said, the problem with it is that I have with it is there's skim milk, 1% milk, 2% milk, and then there's whole milk. They don't call whole milk in Canada. They call it homo milk. I swear to God I could not make this up. Obviously, it's for homogenetic and all that stuff, but like they shorten it, and it actually says on the bag, homo milk, HOMO, and I can't say that. It's always in the red bag, so I'll go up and I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to get 4 of these bags of the. I got kids, I got 4 of these bags of the homo milk. Excuse me, I'll say the. God, now I'm saying it. Jeez, the for homogenous. I remember from trips to No Frills. Holy crap! So you were actually in Canada for a while. Yeah, we got a couple No Frills right around here. Cool little franchise. In Jersey, we have ShopRite. But, yeah, so I put up with, I'll take some of these bags of the red milk, the homo milk. Yeah, if that's what you want to say. I feel like that's just so disgraceful, so insulting to call it homo milk. I got images. Anyways, so, yeah. That being said... Stop tripping me up, man. You're such a butthead. So anyway, crying out loud. Lavoisier, you're a butthead. Congratulations, I forgot where I was. You are such a jerk. Oh, man. Okay, now you gotta help me out. Where the hell was I? Come on, man. Don't hold me up. Where was I? Type it in. What was I just talking about? Plus, you missed it before. Dave was in my morning live chat. He showed up in the Dave from Nerdarchy. He showed up, which Tony and Cap, Secret Empire. Yeah, I know. I just don't remember which part of it I was on. Anyway, just the idea that, he's doing all that good stuff. So, anyway, all right, guys. Basically, Free Comic Book Day. It was pretty awesome. Here, Guardians of the Galaxy, I hope you guys got to see it. Listen, don't be a noob. Don't be a total noobler. There are going to be 5 end credit scenes for this movie. 5. So, literally, the last one happens after all the credits are gone. And literally stay for the credits in the first place. My wife just wanted to watch Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, again, on Netflix just today. That's what I was doing. When I finally came home from everything that I had to do, we just sat back and we watched Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, because she wanted to watch it again. Cool. Keeper. She's a keeper. So, what do you call it? I was just looking at the end credits, and it's literally, it's like, there's just the black with the yellow letters or white letters, I think they're yellow letters, and then at the end there's the Howard the Duck thing, which Who cares? Whatever. Who cares? Howard the Duck is in the very beginning-ish of this movie. So the first scene of Nowhere, that's him. Once you go quack, you don't go back or something like that. Anyway, but the end credits of this movie, of Volume 2 of Guardians of the Galaxy, they got Jeff Goldblum on there in his Grandmaster getup. He's going to be in Thor Ragnarok. He's dancing in the end of that. Like, holy crap, that's awesome. He's like, oh, you're going to be Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, listen, can you just do a little dance for me really quick? All right, good, thanks. All right, cut. Thanks. I'll see you in the movie. So technically, Jeff Goldblum's first Marvel movie is right here in the end credits scene of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Go figure. I used to live in Niagara Falls and around GTA. Okay, the GTA is Greater Toronto area, by the zoo and such. Cool. Sorry for distracting you. You were talking about a lot of stuff, man. It's all good. It's all good. What do you call it? So, now what was I talking about? I'm joking. So Jeff Goldblum was in that. But, like, they got a whole bunch of, like, certain things, the credits will be rolling, and at one point it'll say, like, for one of the names, I am Groot. And then it'll be in red, and then it'll flash and change into the actual person's name. So it's actually very interesting to watch the credits of this particular movie. Best end credits I've ever seen in any movie before. And I'm going way back to, like, the Naked Gun movies, where they'd have, like, the recipe for brownies, all right, and things like that in the credits. All sorts of, funny little things they put in other movies, the end credits. But this was the best end credits I've ever seen. And there are 5 end credit scenes in this. Once the credits are finished, that's when the last one comes out. That's the second appearance of Stan Lee in this particular episode, this particular movie. So make sure you stick around. Super Magnumable. One more question. Do you think we'll ever see a Blade series on Netflix anytime soon? Okay, ever and then anytime soon. You do realize that you just used a pronoun and then completely pissed all over, right? Ever see a Blade movie anytime soon on Netflix? I understand what you mean. I'm just messing with you. Plus, I used to teach English to non-native speakers, which is harder than teaching English to native speakers. So yeah, sorry. I'm the guy who will go through your comments with a red pen. It seems like they're really focusing on street level heroes only. Still think there's a good chance, though. I agree. Honestly, I think that there's a better chance that we are going to see Blade in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. All right? My reasons, I've never said this before, so very good question. The reason why I believe that is because the Darkhold is currently in, I was just talking about the Darkhold before, right? The Darkhold is currently in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. If you're watching that, Season 4, the last episode is actually supposed to come out this Tuesday. No, sorry. There's 2 more episodes left. This Tuesday, and then next Tuesday is the last episode, and Ghost Rider is supposed to be coming back. That's right. If you didn't know, Ghost Rider was in the first 8 episodes of Season 4. And that's the season that's on right now. And it's the Robbie Reyes version of Ghost Rider, but we get a tidbit of Johnny Blaze, the original Ghost Rider. Technically the original Ghost Rider with the flaming head, not the Phantom Rider. We would call him the Phantom Rider now. He used to be called the Ghost Rider. But we get a little tidbit of Johnny Blaze, and then in the 4th episode, we get full-on Johnny Blaze. It's just a very quick cameo scene, but they change the origins of Robbie Reyes. Robbie Reyes is the Ghost Rider in the car, all right? He's the Mexican-American Ghost Rider, and holy crap, it's the best season of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ever. I do reviews. I've done reviews on every single episode. And yeah, Lavoyer, almost like a good. Like, it's amazing. Those first 8 episodes are amazing. And if you ever read Squadron Supreme, that's where we learn about Hyperion and some of those other characters. They're the Justice League ripoffs who became amazing on their own, specifically Hyperion. He's one of the many Marvel versions of Superman, one of the many comic book versions of Superman. Anyway, what do you call it? Ada was in that 12-issue miniseries of blah, 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 Squadron Supreme, which is award-winning. Mind you, it's award-winning. It's that good. Ada was the artificial intelligence in there. Well, they made an artificial intelligence here called Ada, a little bit different, not too different, and she is currently the big villain now, and they got this thing called the mainframe and all sorts of crazy things. Go and check out my reviews if you can't get a hold of those old episodes. Most of them, they're not particularly long, and they're just me gushing about it. And I do, like I do in these these live broadcasts, I will just rant about whatever comes around, because I'm a huge fan, and Marvel is really killing it right now. Like, Marvel is it's destroying everything that it touches. Just gold, gold, gold. Pretty soon it's going to be like all my food and water is turned to gold now, right? But so amazing stuff. But for real, they've got the Darkhold, and it did a number on Ada and made her evil-ish. And she made a version of the Matrix where everybody just escaped from recently, and 2 episodes left, and Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, is supposed to show up again. Probably a cameo in this coming Tuesday, but full-blown appearance up and coming, and amazing stuff. Guys, I cannot explain right now how amazing those episodes were. Just like you would never believe before. Guys, better than the first Ghost Rider movie with Nicolas Cage. If you didn't like that movie, that's on you. But I actually liked the first Ghost Rider movie. I think that the scenes where Ghost Rider is in it, absolutely amazing. Amazing, and like, why didn't those fights go on just a little bit longer? Because holy crap, they were amazing. The second Ghost Rider, Spirits of Vengeance, sucked. With a capital, I would capitalize every letter in that word and add letters, usually 4-lettered words, because they sucked so bad. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was good. They pulled it off amazingly. Anyway, so many amazing appearances in this season. And so they have the Darkhold. They've got Ghost Rider. I believe that they're going to get Blade pretty soon. Yeah, so I know it's a long way, a roundabout way of telling you that. Sorry. But yes, I genuinely believe that he's going to be there before he's over at Netflix. At Netflix, they got The Defenders. Their first trailer just came out. You watch that, and you see Misty Knight talking to Jessica Jones, and you're just like, oh, wow, man, that's cool. There's a crossover, and all of a sudden, her lawyer comes in. Who is it? There's only 2 lawyers in the Marvel Universe. One of them is a She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters. The other one is Daredevil, Matt Murdock. And he shows up and it's just like, Miss Jones, don't say another word. Who are you? I'm your lawyer. What? and you just look and it's like, oh. And it was literally, I watched this, and for me, my heart leapt a little bit, because it's a little bit like the Avengers, all right? When we saw that first Avengers trailer way, way, way back, and it's just like you start seeing, like, here's Captain America and Iron Man and Thor, and they're all talking with each other, and it's like, oh, and there's the Hulk, and Thor and Hulk are going to fight, and we were all freaking out, right? That's kind of what I'm seeing here. It's only going to be 8 episodes, but boom. And the question is, if Blade does show up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm wondering where Moon Knight is going to show up. Because I think enough people know that the talk about town big time is Moon Knight. Where the hell is Moon Knight? You know what I'm saying? Where is he going to show up? Because everybody wants to see Moon Knight. More than they wanted to see Ghost Rider, more than they wanted to see Blade, believe it or not. People are like, where's Moon Knight going to be? And the closest we got to Moon Knight, I don't know if anybody ever watched the TV series for Blade. Magnobel, you sound like you maybe did. But yeah, the TV series for Blade, way back in the day when it was still owned by Fox. They made a 4th movie, which was a made-for-TV movie where they got the new actor. And then they did a regular TV series with it. And in the last episode, or the second from last episode, before the series got canceled, damn it, they made reference to a guy who is a specialist on werewolves, and his name was Mark Spector. And anybody who watched it was like, holy crap, we're about to get Moon Knight. So yeah, I think that we're going to see Moon Knight sooner than we think. You know what I'm saying? They're probably going to tease us with it for a while, but once the Defenders come out, once the Punisher comes out, they're already they started shooting or they finished shooting on. I think they finished shooting on Jessica Jones series season 2. They started on Luke Cage season 2, and season 3 of Charlie Cox's Daredevil. I believe that's in pre-production right now. So yeah, after that, what are they gonna do? Just keep on making remakes? Does anybody really want to see a part 2 to Iron Fist? Maybe. They could fix it, but right now I don't have any excitement to see a season 2 of Iron Fist. So they can try and fix that in Defenders maybe. Maybe season 2 of Luke Cage has Iron Fist in it. You know, we see they're going to become pretty good friends right now. So we'll see. Genuinely, we'll see. But yeah, seeing that his Iron Fist is the one thing that can hurt Luke Cage, that was pretty sweet, right? So that being said, Moon Knight and Blade, I believe that Blade will show up over there. I don't believe that Blade would be, or that Moon Knight would be a good fit over there in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but we'll see. They're going to have to start doing more supernatural characters eventually. They're running out of street heroes. Super Magnumable, I think that you underestimate how many street heroes they've really got. Here's the thing, since you're such a huge DC fan, and I did just mention them earlier, with all of these street-level heroes coming out, I know that they keep on doing the Warner Brothers. They keep on throwing out more and more and more characters, but how cool do you think it would be if they did a Hawk and Dove TV show? Like on a Netflix or a Hulu or an Amazon Prime. Let's say you can say Amazon Prime doesn't want in on the superhero action, right? How quickly do you think people would jump on something like that? Because I would mark out. I'd have to change my pants. Just to give you an idea of how excited I would be, I would have to change my pants. So that's the thing. They've got plenty of street level heroes, a lot more than DC does. But yeah, DC has a couple of really good ones, and I'm sure they'd be willing to make more also. I mean, Black Lightning is coming out on TV series pretty soon. Woo, can't wait. So all that good stuff. And I know they've got the whole Arrowverse and whatnot, and it's great, but it is starting to get a little bit too, for me, it's starting to get a little bit too crazy. Like it's a little bit too congested, and since there's no relation whatsoever to the movieverse, like literally casting new characters, Grant Gustin, he's cute, man. Grant Gustin. Oh shoot, now I'm forgetting names. Grant Gustin is awesome as a Flash. Why do we need Ezra Miller as the Flash? Why not just use Grant? What's the problem? Are you telling me that you think that this kid Ezra is going to do half as good a job as as Grant did? He's already proven. He's already been through the fire. He's had his baptism, and now you're going to go over and oh, here's this guy over here. Why? Why even bother? Why do that? I just don't see the purpose. Why not just have this way you don't have to introduce a new character. His origin's already done. That's the biggest problem people have. One of the things we talked with Lewis about. Hey, Ninjatrocity TV, what's up, brother? What do you call it? Sadly, I think Marvel beat them to the whole super duo thing with Cloak and Dagger. Nope. It's not going to be beat. Look, Cloak and Dagger is awesome, but that's why I like Hawk and Dove so much, because they're like, power set wise, they're closer to Power Man Iron Fist, Luke Cage Iron Fist, but their balance, that yin and yang that they hold, that's what we really loved about Cloak and Dagger, man. So I think that would probably settle well. It's literally like you take Power Man Iron Fist and Cloak and Dagger, merge them together, you got Hawk and Dove. I think that it would blow people out of the water. Maybe change the costumes a little bit, specifically with Hawk, even though it's an amazing costume. I love the red and white. But holy crap, dude, that would just be such an amazing assault of a character right there. Just these two guys working perfectly together. And then always teasing when Dove is going to die. Oh, man. Right? I bet they'll do a better job than Zach, whatever the hell his name is. I want to say Zac Efron. Seriously? Batman vs. Superman. What the hell is his name? I don't even care. I can't remember right now. I don't actually care. But anyway, Yeah, I think that the whole Superman dies thing in Batman vs Superman. No, that was such a waste, such a waste. And then, but doing something like that, I think that would actually be pretty cool because the real fans know that when he died, it was a huge deal. Oh, Zack Snyder, thank you, Zack Snyder. Yes, he's a scrotum snack, scrotum sack. Could be cool to see Hank and Granger, Dawn. Forgot Hawk and Dove's names at the moment, but what would DC air it on? Netflix? They could. Good typo, I'll keep it. Thanks, Lavoyer. They could air it on Netflix. Again, they could go to Amazon Prime. Right now, Marvel obviously owns Netflix. All right? Like, they're destroying it on Netflix. Amazon, what do you call it? ABC, they actually own Umbrella Company, DC, ABC, Disney. Umbrella Company Disney owns ABC TV, including Freeform, where Cloak and Dagger is going to premiere, and they own Marvel. So, easy fit, right? But DC, oh, and they're going to have The Runaways and another one. I can't remember which one. But they're going to have The Runaways, at the very least, over on Hulu. So what's left? Amazon Prime. The only really huge show that Amazon Prime has, what the hell was the name of it? Philip K. Dick, I think, was the author of it. He's the guy who did Android's Dream of Electric Sheep, which became Blade Runner. He did a book. He also did this one. Whatever it was, where Hitler won, like an alternate universe where Hitler won the World War II, and Germany and Japan divided America amongst themselves, and it's an amazing TV series, like 10 episodes I think it was, and they were freaking amazing. So they're really looking for something else. If DC went over there, that's one option. A second option. Here's the thing about DC. DC is owned by Warner Brothers. They've been owned by Warner Brothers for a very long time. There we go. I was trying to pop that. I broke this punching somebody. My metacarpal on my pinky in my left hand. What do you call it? But anyway, what happened? DC is owned by Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is one of the largest movie studios out there. Like, they did the Harry Potter movies, they did all these other, like, you look at all the movies that they've done. They're huge. Which is why I've said in the past, Warner Brothers doesn't need the DC movies. So if Scrotum Zack Snyder, that's actually just really rude, sorry. If Zack Snyder continues screwing up, like the Justice League, and I was just talking about it today with some people in line with me to see Ken Lashley. They're like, oh, what do you think of the Justice League movie? I was like, it looked good, except for the part where they make Aquaman a freaking surfer like Keanu Reeves. I'm not interested in seeing Aquaman meets Point Break. I'm not interested in seeing that. What I am interested in seeing is Aquaman being the badass that we keep on seeing in the other versions, and that he keeps on acting like behind the scenes in Aquaman. This is the only DC movie ever since Man of Steel. This is the only current DC movie in the works that's not having problems. Look at all the problems that The Flash is having. They don't even have a release date anymore. They don't even have a release. They had a release date like, yeah, we screwed something up. Sorry, we don't know what the hell we're doing anymore. I want to say how hard is it, but I would literally be saying, how hard is it? But whatever. They don't have their acts together, Whatever, man. Like, they're just screwing everything up. Batman, all sorts of screwed up, and I feel really bad for Ben Affleck because he could have had this, but just he's got his own problems he's got to deal with, and he literally has to deal with them, and I think he's dealing with them, like, better than a lot of people I know. Better than a whole lot of people I know. But Aquaman is the only one that's been going on without any hiccups whatsoever. Even Wonder Woman, which is coming out, and a lot of people are saying it looks good. People are still like, yeah, there's a lot going on back there. And at the time, people were saying, oh, it's a hot mess, and things like that. Like, whoa. So the only one that nobody's ever said anything bad about was Aquaman. And then you got some great love coming out of there. All-star cast, for the most part. Like, hello, that's what we need. And then all of a sudden, Zack Snyder has him surfing on the Batmobile. And, like, I'm I'm not. Actually, it wasn't the Batmobile. It was another car. But like, I'm not interested in seeing stupidity like that. I don't want to see it. You might as well just put blonde hair on him again. So it is what it is. But yeah, the thing with Warner Brothers is, I know I'm still like answering that question. The thing about it is, I think that Warner Brothers could make their own thing. All right, they've already got their own TV channel, the WB. It's Warner Brothers, but I believe that they can make their own thing if they wanted to, right? And what better way to set it off than to have their own version of a universe there? They can make their own version of Hulu or Netflix or Amazon Prime. You know, so they could do Amazon Prime. They could do their own thing. Look, Marvel is so hot right now that IMAX was like, we want to start doing our own thing too. So we will fully fund 10 episodes of The Inhumans. Just make sure that the first 2 go on, show up in the IMAX theaters first. And Marvel was like, okay. I mean, that's an offer you can't refuse. If Don Corleone himself from The Godfather showed up and said, I make you an offer you can't refuse, you would take their offer before you take this guy's offer. As long as, you know, Luca Brasi wasn't standing right there. That aside, that's awesome. They fully funded it just to have 2 episodes showing up there. That's amazing. Wayne.tv. Le Voyeur? Yes. I want to see Wayne.tv, an internet-only Boom exclusive like paid YouTube. That would be amazing. That would be freaking amazing. Why the hell not? You know? Shoot, I think I could end on that. Real talk, guys. Anyway, yeah, that's how I feel about it. Guys, make sure you tune in next week. I think Lewis and I were just talking, Lewis from the Geek Fortress and I, we were just talking, and yeah, we're confirmed. 11 a.m. next Saturday, we're going to be doing a whole podcast thing on this channel about, what do you call it? The Batman vs. Superman, all right? Because he just changed it. He used to love the movie. I didn't really like it that much. I loved certain parts about it, but I was disappointed. He's starting to sway and come onto my side. He's willing to talk about it now. So I'm going to enjoy a little tete-a-tete with Lewis about that. Good talks. Haven't seen Volume 2 yet, so I'm going to have to solve that before Monday. Yeah, wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't hurt. All right, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Thanks for showing up. Hey, tuition free, Comic Book University. Just hit subscribe. All right. Class dismissed.